Hello everybody. So till previous video we learned to do the data processing before making our NLP model, and then we used back of words to create list of features, or you can also say that we did the feature extraction. We created a list of vocabulary, and then we at the end we created the sentiment analysis model using naive Bayes. And if you remember, we got F1 score of 81%, right? So we are done with this. Now the why I'm making this video, just to wrap up the things and place everything in a proper way, right? So what we have is we have the test set data. So whatever prediction that we have got over here, right? So let's say predicted, this is this is the result which we have got, but we don't know that which sentence does it does this element indicates to that it is negative or so let's just try to put them all together. So for that we have data set which is X test. Let's take one element. We have X test, then we have Y test, which is the actual sentiment, and then we have the predicted value, right, which we just saw. So I'm just going to put everything together and have a complete data set, and then see where our prediction is not matching with the actuals one. Okay, so let's call final sentiment equals to pd dot data frame. By the way, this pd is indicates to pandas data frame. So if you don't have it already imported, so I would say just say import pandas as pd. All right, but I already have it, so I'm not going to do that. And in here we have three lists, so we need to use zip function to compress them all together. Okay, so first list which we have is X test, then we gonna have Y test, and then we have the predicted, this particular value. All right, we have the predicted value. Then we need to supply the list of columns. Let's just see columns into that. I'm just going to say X test is nothing but our test set data set for reviews. Okay, then Y test is nothing but the actual sentiment. Okay, actual sentiment, so I'm just going to say actual sent. Then this predicted is nothing but the predicted sentiment, so I'm just going to say predicted sent. All right, and then over here I will just try to take final sentiment dot head and two observations, right? So here we got. Now what you see over here is the actual prediction and actual sentiment and the predicted sentiment, both of them are same, right? So let's just try to see where it is differing. How can we see that, right? So there is a function called query, which you might have learned if you have followed my pandas videos. If not, then the link is given in the description section. I highly recommend you to check that out. Okay, now here we have final sentiment, and next thing which we're gonna do is we need to find where our sentiment does not matches to the actual sentiment. Right, and for that we are going to say actual sentiment not equals to, you should notice this particular operator. All right, this is for not equals to. Then it's, let's say, pred sentiment, and let's just have a look here. It would give me a lot of things, so I'm just going to see only two. All right, so here you see this particular review here, actual sentiment is negative, but what we have predicted is positive. All right, so this is how you can put them all together. Next thing, let's try to make a function where what we can do is we can all right, so let's first try to do the prediction of a new sentence. We trained our model on existing data, and we tested it on the existing data. Let's try to put a fresh review or sentence and try to see what sort of sentiment we are going to get. Okay, so first of all, our let's try a sentence which we're gonna say, let's say that movie was awesome. Okay, and here I'm just going to say review. Let's call it review. All right, so this is done. We need to convert this in form of arrays, right? So here I would say np dot array, and I'll just put this into this. Okay, now if you check the type review and just check type, so it should be array. And if you want to check the end dimension, np.enddim, then it should be one dimensional. All right, so we are good. Next thing which we require to do is convert it into the vector. So for that we said vector dot transform. We're gonna say transform, and inside that we are going to put our review. All right, and here we can say text to pred. This is our value which we need to predict. Okay, then next thing which we need to do is model dot predict, and inside that you just put your sentence which is called text to predict. And let's see what does our model says. It says 1, which means this is a positive, and here you say awful. Now what you see, this is negative. Let's try to put it in a function. Okay, let's say sentiment check, and here you can say input text, and let's just make it quick. Test equals to, I can say np dot array, and inside that I would use input text. This is the value which we just entered. Then this will come over here. All right, and then the next thing which we need to do is this, and then next thing which we need to do is this. Next I will just put this into, let's call it predicted value. Okay, and here I would say if predicted value equals to 1, then print the review is positive. Right. Okay, next let's say else just print negative. Because here we can only have either 0 or 1, so that makes sense, right? So now the next thing which we're gonna do is, let's try to use this function sentiment check, and inside that I'm going to put my text which is called the movie was awesome. And you see, oops, here it says this is negative sentiment. Why is that so? It should not be like that. Alright, this is because if you see over here, review, we are using the review which has the movie was awful, right? So instead we need to use this particular variable over here. Alright, and let's run this. Oops, now this time it gave us the error. Let me see that. NumPy and the array object has no attribute lower. Where is that we are using lower? Alright, so here what I feel is this square bracket, I can remove this square bracket, and let's just try. Alright, we got it. Okay, the review is positive. Now let's just say awful. It says the review is negative. So this is quite interesting, isn't it? Now we created a model, and then we just make a function. Now you can put whatever sentence you want, you can just pass that into it, and then that's gonna give you the sentiment. Alright, so I hope that it was interesting and you found it useful. Just in case of any doubt, put that into the comment section. If you have any suggestion, put that into the comment section, and I'll definitely try to help you out on that. Thank you very much for watching it. Wish you good luck.